Welcome to today's lesson on the brain as part of the central nervous system. In our lesson today, we will explore how the brain functions within the nervous system and identify the roles of various regions of the brain. So far, you have learned about the nervous system and how the brain is a crucial component of the central nervous system. We've discussed basic concepts like how the nervous system transmits signals and how it helps in coordinating actions and responses. Building on this foundation allows us to introduce the complex and fascinating functions of different regions of the brain. Understanding these regions and their roles helps us comprehend how the brain controls everything from movement to thought processes. This insight is essential for both diagnosing neurological conditions and developing effective treatments. To start with, let's remind ourselves what the brain is. The brain is a vital part of the central nervous system, teaming up with the spinal cord to control most of the body's functions. It is made up of billions of interconnected neurons, allowing it to process massive amounts of information and coordinate complex behaviors. The brain is highly specialized, with different regions responsible for specific functions. Understanding these regions and their roles is crucial. Let's explore them. The cerebral cortex is the outer layer of the brain and is instrumental in 4 areas. First is consciousness. It enables self-awareness and the ability to be aware of the environment. Next is intelligence. Higher order thinking skills such as reasoning and problem solving are managed here. There's also memory. It stores memories, both long-term and short-term. Lastly is language. Language processing, including speaking, understanding, reading, and writing, is handled in different parts of this region. To locate the cerebral cortex on a diagram, look for the wrinkled outermost layer of the brain. The medulla is a crucial part of the brainstem and is responsible for controlling automatic or unconscious activities. These include breathing, the heartbeat, and gut movement. In a diagram, the medulla oblongata is located at the lower part of the brainstem, just above the spinal cord. The cerebellum is involved in muscle activity. It fine-tunes motor actions, ensuring smooth and coordinated movements. It further aids balance. It helps maintain posture and equilibrium during movement. The cerebellum can be identified on a diagram as the bulbous structure at the back of the brain, below the cerebral cortex. Before we wrap up, let's take a look at some historical information about the study of the brain. The study of the brain has fascinated humans for centuries, but one of the earliest and most bizarre practices was conducted by ancient Egyptian embalmers around 2600 BC. The Egyptians believed that the heart, not the brain, was the center of thought and emotion. In fact, during mummification, they discarded the brain entirely, considering it useless. Then, in the 4th century BC, that the Greek philosopher Aristotle also mistakenly argued that the brain's main function was to cool the blood, rather than to think. It took many more centuries and the work of scientists, like the 17th century physician Thomas Willis, who mapped the brain's anatomy and coined the term neurology, to begin understanding the brain's true role. Interestingly, Willis also noted that the brain was crucial in mental functions, making him one of the first to suggest that our thoughts and emotions reside in the brain, not the heart. In today's lesson, we focused on understanding the brain's role as a part of the central nervous system. First, we discussed how the brain, along with the spinal cord, forms the central nervous system, which is responsible for processing information and controlling responses throughout the body. We emphasized the importance of the brain in managing various functions, such as movement, sensation, thought, and emotion. We then explored several key regions of the brain and their specific functions. These included the cerebral cortex, which is involved in higher order functions like thinking and decision-making, the cerebellum, which coordinates movement and balance, the medulla oblongata, which is part of the brainstem, which controls vital involuntary processes such as breathing and heart rate. Additionally, we highlighted how each region can be identified on a diagram. By understanding the distinct roles of these brain regions, you can appreciate how different parts of the brain contribute to our everyday activities and overall well-being. This knowledge forms a crucial foundation for further studies in human biology and helps in comprehending how the nervous system maintains homeostasis and responds to various stimuli.